vote, but are not a faith.
We go vote, we don't go faith. Hope for you deposit this information. Yeah. Waterloo chapter. Listen. Me a go vote and not go faith, yeah. Because we voting on me right, yeah. Me a go vote and not go faith, yeah. Because we voting on me right, yeah. The youth them let we stay away from violence. Get the vibes, get the feeling, yeah. The youth them let we stay away from violence, yeah. You vote now you right. You vote now you right, Hope for you say you vote now you right. You vote now you right, Go vote full sit down now you host. We no want no ding 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 ding. We want no bling 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 bling. Bonjour.
We no want no ding 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 ding. We no want no bling 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 bling. We vote now we right. We for exercise we right. We for exercise we vote. Because we vote now we right. Hope for you to say we no want no violence. Family, na good evening. I hope say any house on a friend on herself. I hope so they do well. I hope life has been good to you. I hope the week treated you fairly, and I hope say the week ahead entering will treat you fairly. Listen, we don't sit on the ass of a cancer, but Salone issues. I'm so sorry. Yesterday we not able to cancel. Now trust me, we did everything we could. When I said everything, we did everything we could for make we reach on yesterday as promised, but technical difficulties, not technical difficulties. Sometimes there are unplanned situations that you can encounter where go derail you. The truth is, with technical person work behind the scenes for a good hour. We tried and tried. We pushed and tried again. Nothing wasn't working. Up to 2 hours, finally we say, okay, let's call it a night. But guess what? That rest they allow them for go through, find out waiting at the problem, fix the problem, and this afternoon, you guys had a beautiful show with lawyer Charles Magai on, Francis Magai on, where I believe saying I'd be a very enlightening show. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to watch the entire show. But from Usai, I go in and come out just a little bit where I pick. I don't know why I pick that particular point there. I pick the fact that say we get a commissioner of the election commissioner where according to the constitution, if I be a voting member before they appoint him, and at the time of his appointment, he was not a voting member. And if lawyer Magai tell you, say, I get proof to something, no doubt I may get proof to something. And they talk about the whole hoopla where they happen with, the constitution, abridging of the constitution. Then go into quite a whole lot of things. Like I say, me not watch the entire show, but I picked that up. Usaya come inside, and then I left, and then Usaya come inside again. Talk about how the PPLC only allocated certain, I think only the SLPP and the APC time for campaign. They not give allocated time to the other parties them like wait and do for them to party they also. And when he asks, say listen, as a presidential candidate, they say he free for campaign at any time. Now that's a recipe for chaos, just like he rightly say. If one person the campaign, yeah, yourself you go put your matter at the same gun when I go meet the, that's what most basically happen. And these people sometimes they think they are doing all they can to prevent certain things, but they are the makers of some of these situations that we are seeing. But anyway, I look forward for Take Me Tell for go listen to the show. I think it's a show that I will love listening to. I always like for now somebody who I always like for watch. I will always like for listen to, because whenever I listen to Francis Magai, they get a whole lot of knowledge. Like, they impact a lot of knowledge in me because he knows so much, and the manner in which he can articulate things without fear or favor. That's one thing I've always loved about him. But this even time not me one grace done. I also remember last week we promised to say we dey do analysis, we dey begin with analysis of the manifesto. But in this game you have to be flexible. Flexibility is what builds you. Flexibility is what makes you malleable. You have to be malleable. We can't start hoping for talk about that, and then we ended up really just zoning in on the mayoral debate, and that entire show turned into a post analysis of the mayoral debate, which I think we did a fantastic job with, all said and done. But make we bring no less a person kind side. When I get for Sidon, I asked for Bade this Bade with me today. More they look inside the two alike by them waiting, and they say and waiting they don't put na the support for we don't know if somebody put salt, pasmak salt or pasmak pepper. As we go, we go find out. Mr. Kago, tell Fambule Adu.
Fambule Munadu, me na Abdul Karim Kagbo, like we Sister Matilda say. Again, I can't help him. Me na guest na the show, so na in show. So if I not say something we una want for ye, una blame am on am. Now you not ask me the right question. And I'm glad you for be part of the show tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Listen, this show is everybody's show, y'all. It's not a Matilda show. It's not a Matilda, road show. It's not a Matilda road you. Now we all show. Make we all put time, make we all join and bring with comments, then come. We might not agree on everything, but I'm sure that there are common lines which we'll agree on. And the one thing we all agree on is the betterment of Mama Salone, right? So that is the first point of departure. We all agree so we will make Mama Salone better. Now the how. The how is where we diverge, and that's okay. Divergence of opinion is good. Different opinions then good, but at some point we have to get to that middle, that center, and it's that center that our politicians somehow they elude them because they then find that difficult to get to that center. When they get to that center, then that center allows them the space for collaboration. So now we don't see. Election they come, election non close. When we started the political analysis of elections and what's to come, we were at 90 days to election. But guess what, my family? Right now, as I said, I also talk to now. We did 12 days, 1 hour and 56 minutes to election. Could you believe that? Only 12 days. Only 12 days. Not even full 2 weeks, so not even full 2 weeks. Only 12 days. 12 days, 1 hour and 56 minutes. Wow. Interesting. But the two allegios them, the two Agbagba, they don't lay the matter na gone. They don't lay the matter na gone. Now it is up to us to go through that matter, sift that matter there and see, okay, now the same thread they use for sew the matter from head to toe. Or if the matter so with different threads them. Here, listen, before we even go further, I think for me for do the show and go through the show without doing few acknowledgements or few things them, I think say go be disservice to nation. We are entering election. People have different ways of going about getting prepared for the elections. So with that, I want to play one short video. And I want to talk about why it is important for make Sierra Leoneans them all over the world join this initiative. If you're a Christian, Muslim, it doesn't matter. Listen, you're coming to pray to God. You're asking God, you're on your knees, begging God for your country. Now listen to this clip quickly. And I don't want to waste a lot of time because we already they run late. Let's go into it. Let's get into it.
Restore Sierra Leone invites you to a 14 days of national prayers and fasting titled Operation Fight on Your Knees Sierra Leone Part 2. Date Monday 12 June 2023 to Sunday 25th of June 2023. Time 11 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. So this is the morning to afternoon watch, and it can be viewed or you can connect via Facebook on Faith Melkosh or YouTube Faith Melkosh. The night watch is at 11 p.m. to 12:45 a.m. and you can connect via Voice of Salone television on Facebook and VOS network on YouTube. Psalm 46 verse 5. God is in the midst of her, Sierra Leone. Therefore, she shall not be moved. God will help Sierra Leone, and that right early in the mighty name of Jesus. Join us as we intercede for land that we love, our Sierra Leone. In the mighty name of Jesus. The wind of change is blowing over Sierra Leone. Be part of this prayer movement as we stand in the gap for Mama Salone. God bless you. Shalom.
Be part of this prayer movement as we stand in the gap for Mama Salone. Listen, it's not just only about exercising your vote, it's also about manifestation. Manifestation, it's about, it is good to go type pray for Mama Salone, or it is good for type pray for Salone, but actually doing it, performing the act of prayer is good. And they say, where two or three are gathered, there shall I be in their midst. So come gather with the brethren, come gather with the faithful, and let's pray for Mama Salone, even as we're entering in the election season, when the program is on VOS. Come along, pray along, share, there are many instances in the Bible when people gathered and they prayed, and the results that unfolded were just stunning. So come gather, come pray. And I want to remind you now, also Melkosh Mission International, also they do on June 16th, which is the African Day of the Child. Also they go start a fundraising soon for we amputees picking them. So now not say we get we amputees them, but we get them picking them where we Melkosh Mission always done the help. So please, when that time is near, and you see those fundraising flyers, you see those appeal to una all, make una all join on and help the children of the vulnerable. Remember that they are our future leaders. So we go put a standalone explaining all of these. We'll put a standalone the dates of the prayers where you can access the links and everything. We'll do that shortly after the show. But for because of time, make we we want to try for just go with the show as planned and get this part one going. But before we get sit down inside this part one proper, I think say I go do the service to nation, and as a citizen of Sierra Leone myself, I will do the service to the show, to the nation, and everyone who always come up and support this show. If and all, congratulate we country. After 52 years, hiatus from the UN non-permanent seat. This week we were elected back as a non-permanent member to the UN Security Council for 2 years. So that 2-year period, they go start 1st January 2024, and it go on up to, first 2024, 2025, so end of December 2025, I believe. Not a we one grade no more being get this good news there. So, but for we, I think it's a good achievement, and we should congratulate ourselves. We should give kudos to the government and the team of people who worked behind the scenes, the negotiation, the networking, and all, because there's a lot of work that goes into that. There's a lot of networking that goes into that. There's a lot of whatever that goes into that. So I'm not taking it for granted. They say, I always can say, me go always give merit where merit is due. And after 52 years not having access to that non-permanent seat, I remember one of in one of those, current President Bio in speeches them to the UN. As a matter of fact, the very first speech to the UN that came up. However, he was saying that Africa should get a permanent seat. Be part of the big five. Some like lofty dreams, my dear. Make we cut according to the size. You're not going to go bigger at return. Then you want to don't for make decision. When you dey self-sufficient and you're not a bigger and go to return treat food, then maybe you have a chance to be taken seriously. But for now, make we cut according to his size. So thank you very much for cutting our coats according to our size. And we've done it as a nation after 52 years. Other country then back way go inside. I mean Algeria, if I remember clearly, Guyana as well, and the Republic of Korea as well. Then safe back gain that non-permanent seat. So 4 in total: Sierra Leone, Algeria, Guyana, as well as the Republic of Korea. So congratulations to all, and to the green, white, and blue, and the daughters and sons of the green, white, and blue, and the team who form part of that. Kudos, Mr. Taibo. I don't know if you get anything to say about this, about we non-permanent, reinstatement, I'll call, or electing for 2 years to the non-permanent member seat.
Well, I'm glad you recognize that this is something we definitely will forgive the administration kudos. And one thing I will use this platform for emphasize is in terms of the foreign policy, President Bill don't do a lot. You don't do a lot for champion several causes. Yes, it may be a stain on the purse of the country. Someday some people ain't go agree, some people are not going to agree, say not to the right time or not to the right approach. But overall, and thank you again for we recognize that. On behalf of VOS, I want to say congratulations to the country. And congratulations to the president and the team in administration for where they make this possible. Because this is a huge recognition for Sierra Leone, small Salone, and we get huge number of countries them we elect Salone. So this I want to say because I see a video where Professor Francis, when the foreign minister, they do the campaign for like the elect Salone. So I want to say do a very great, do a great job. Again, I can struggle for talk the crew in English, but yeah, now great job. And thank you for that. So to me, again, that's something we definitely need for recognize. And I want to say kudos to every Sierra Leonean. We go proud of this moment. And that Security Council Day, as you rightfully say, now huge improvement in terms of, or in fact, now the body that one day for people that we not to know within the Security Council, like anything we get for do with war or anything like that, security around the world, that council they sit down and engage and then decide whether or not as a UN body therefore take decisive action. So for let Salone be part of that company day, I want to say kudos to the president, the government, and the foreign minister for way he relentlessly push for let this happen. So congratulations to Sierra Leoneans.
Yeah. So yes, indeed, congratulations to Sierra Leoneans. All around the world. This is like I say, I don't take actual manifestation of work done for granted, and this was work done not to Professor Francis no more, because as at now he is the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Obviously na in name una go hear, na in face una go see, but like I say, so many people then work behind the scenes, people that I personally know, like who put sleepless nights. I will not call their name here, but or their names, because not to one person, not to two person. I know so many people them we work behind the scenes. We don't hold different positions them within the UN and currently hold positions them within the UN, Sierra Leone diplomats, them, policymakers that we really worked so hard for Seldons. And so kudos to you all, even though for because of the way we country they I go refuse for call the names them because these people deserve recognitions. I know the sacrifices their families made in order for them to do this work. But make we they move on, make we they look at we two alike by the matter them. So Mr. Kagbo, from a glance, waiting you think they can't read them on me famble them and they can't read them all one by one by one. One gets 5, one gets 10, and then we go begin now for go inside the Kotoku proper. But from a glance, what are your thoughts?
So let people understand clearly when you say they can read them because somebody be challenged with so
Oh,
no read the manifesto. This now the key points them in nice in nice for
okay.
we clarify that.
Not true, not
Yes,
true. So,
say
a point of correction, I am not about to read 83 pages of the APC manifesto. No, I will not do that. Neither am I about to read the 120 pages of the SLPP manifesto. No. But what we are going to do, however, we're going to concentrate on the summary. We're going to concentrate on their which you can call themselves then pillars of actions, then key which you okay now my words I'm I'm missing my words. They are not activities. I can call them thing and this they are
well well
key.
them put clearly that way they way for the bio administration they say 5 game changers. So now that way they then call them. And then
Yes,
for the APC government, then call them like the 5 key components. Them just paraphrase, but again, the thing the way that they
yes. So
concentrate
the
on. So in a
sectors
way,
make
then
a
summarize, then priorities them and put them into for the administration into 5 major within they go call themes like major
exactly
category. Yes.
major
So whereas
category,
the
major
APC,
themes.
yes.
So yeah, for some people then and go call them 5 sectors. For other people then and go understand them as 5 key areas. For other people then and go call them 5 priority areas. So I don't break and down depending on who side you work and who side you find yourself. You sometimes they will call it the thematic areas, right? So whether I use sector or I use priority areas, or I use 5 key areas, or I use thematic sectors, we are talking about the same thing. Okay? Okay, Mr. Kago, go ahead.
Well, I don't know again how you want follow with Andulam because this na huge task for analyze this because now something where I know say you talk about part 1 and maybe we only get like how you say less than 2 weeks, so next week go be part 2. So we go do it best for talk about the key components then of the manifesto. And again,
Yes,
thank you for where you decide on the approach there. Because if we go page by page, then CSF not do am. For go page by page. So let alone for let we didn't they pay and where we want for breaking down to the people them. So overall, the thing where I go say first, I don't want let people use this analysis what they do as say we anti the bio administration or anti APC. As an economist, waiting I go focus on mostly now the bread and butter aspect of the manifesto. The points here what they can deal with. And the thing I want for let people on the line is I go use English word how feasible, like how possible it will be for lek then go able achieve the promise. Manifesto na promise. Some people and they say na social contract, but now something we're not legally binding. You don't get for sue the government after we they win, and if they not do them at all, you don't get for sue them. But however, you can able use them and say, okay, well, before you come, now this you be promised we now that's not the manifesto. And after 5 years, let we go through and back and see if what you promise you be able to achieve them. So then they set the platform for like you go trust that particular government day for the second time, for like you re-elect them. So the manifesto is very important because now that particular document they we go use for assess them, whether them be lie per we or then tell we the truth. So but waiting we go do we go just focus on this one because for the administration, for the BO government, that we don't get the first manifesto. So this one again, I believe, say just some modification. And by this manifesto, it highlight plenty things them way them believe say the previous manifesto in the previous promise document then fulfill according to them. It say even more than 100% of waiting and promise people them. I go left una for be the judge for that. Me not go into it because me not there for play politics. I there for like I go give una the information we una require so una go make informed decision. So I will do my best for make sure say even while they conclude, and not for say this government bad or a good, I will just tell una the thing them way me think from my own professional way, my own little experience playing with the numbers and as economist where I don't practice in Canada for over 15 years and actually for the government of Canada. So again, I'm not there on behalf of the government, but I just want for Launa no say to some extent, I go say I know what they talk about. So now then key component here I want for like una pay attention to where una they go on Saturday, June 24th for go ib una ballot. So I will pause here and pass them over to you. I think you mute.
So now, sorry, before we sit down inside, the analysis proper, because APC gets 10 key or priority areas and SLPP gets 5. I think say the way where we get for approach this is that we go get for do 1 to 2. 1 to 2. 1 to 2. Even though APC breaking down into 10, the way I have seen it, and SLPP breaking down into 5, inside and 5 it fit inside and 2 somehow, depending on how you look at it. So I go just ask the producer for make it just put at a glance, make we watch just the headers them. And under each header them been described wetin them mean. But they can begin just with the header them first. And then we'll get for take and so small. I go just read at a glance the APC they own. The first one then say na build one nation, rebuilding national unity and cohesion. Then second one, waiting the one for them plan for do na address economic deficiencies and the cost of living crisis at the structural level. And then the third one, then say intensify efforts in job creation and the establishment of pathways for every adult, especially the youth and women, to earn a living wage. Then number 3. Number 4 then say accelerate investment in our people with a specific focus on the capacities of their children, women, and youth. Number 5 then say accelerate investment in physical and digital infrastructure development. Number 6 then say deepen and strengthen decentralization and rural development. Number 7 then say enhance democratic good governance and the rule of law. Number 8 then say protect our environment and respond to climate change. Number 9 then say strengthen economic diplomacy. And then number 10 then say foster partnerships with the diaspora for national development. Now, under each one, then write a little summary of what they mean. So now then summary, then I will get for take and discuss. But now, make we go over to waiting we get for make we go back to waiting we get for the SLPP. So for the SLPP, number 1, they say feed Salone, an initiative to boost agricultural productivity to ensure food security and inclusive economic growth. Number 2, then say human capital development, nurturing skills for 21st century industry. Number 3, then say youth employment scheme. Then say a presidential initiative to create 500,000 jobs. I get it right? 500,000, yes. 500,000 jobs for the youths in 5 years. And then number 4, then say revamping the public service architecture, delivery efficiency, and professionalism. Number 5, then say tech and infrastructure, pathways for sustained economic growth. Now the then the one then the. So Mr. Kagbo, at a glance, when you see them 2 years so, can you see where I say somehow we can do 1 for 2 because we can pull from the 2 of the other and combine it as a 1 for this one?
Absolutely. I remember we APC they be the wait like we they be the try for pull their own manifesto. Few SLPP supporters then say they hope say APC now go copy SLPP their manifesto and then make on their own. You get beaucoup similarities.
Yeah.
And I want for caution people them. They're writing, if you read them, they're so fancy that you go feel say any of them 2 parts here go resolve all the problems them of Sierra Leone within 5 years. So again, dear I beg me brothers and sisters them, me Salone brothers and sisters them, una not fall for that. Una it's just unfortunate. Like yeah, advanced country where them people here supposed for engage in what me call town hall discussion and not necessarily need for be debate because if they feel say for talk to each other maybe 1 or 2 of them will be uncomfortable, but talk to the people then let them ask you tough question because some people that we don't read them here cable somebody like lost in me where the thing what they do for living na economics and I do na school get me degree then pa and all that go ask question saying okay well you don't say all this how you go do that Yes, the manifesto then talk about it, but if una read them well, most of the method the way they say, they're very vague. They'll not tell you exactly how the resources and all that, the cost of how much this go cost, where you go able ask yourself, saying, okay, well, if you look at the revenue where the government will generate during that period versus how much this go cost, just one program, the government go able, if not, outside then go pull the balance money where then go require for do this. So all them questions then they people do not get the opportunity for ask them presidential candidate here. Look them at the eye and ask them then tough question here. Instead, where did they go through the rally? Now waiting then feel for say. And now them platform here, somebody will easily say, oh, but not to two. But if in the person, the president, for example, or the presidential candidate in this case, tell me say not to true, then I can challenge them and show them things them where like the numbers them because number need a lie. So the statistics, name are statistics. So I will point to them the statistics and say, with these statistics, tell we the Salone people them how you go able make them magic here. So, but again, I know say will not get them on this platform, but I go do my best for showing us some of them numbers them. Let una draw una own conclusion as to whether or not all two them manifesto here, if then go able for attain or achieve waiting they promise the Salone people them. So in general,
Right.
in a nutshell, the manifestos them very, very fancy and they say a lot, but I see plenty similarity, which is not surprising because at the same country, they all two they aspire for lead. So it not surprise me, but you get plenty similarities of the two. Again, even as Sierra Leoneans them, let's just say this very quickly. As Sierra Leoneans them, we all, I don't get no doubt, we all love the country because, like how they say, no place like home. But how for improve the country, now they the difference they the methodology or waiting and believing. Like how you say rightfully, Sister Matilda, where you talk of the parity. So now they we get for think about who done are the better choice of them two are. And no disrespect to the other candidates then. Definitely they self get a chance. But the probability are a very high for like the next president come off from either the SLPP or the APC.
Exactly. So right off the bat, me I can like for look at waiting you they try for Selgi people then. And if you want to look at waiting the APC, then they try for Selgi the nation right now, then say then call them my own manifesto, one nation manifesto. Then call them own one nation manifesto and then say waiting make them call a one nation manifesto, then say this manifesto na all man say na den collective agenda for better the lives for okay they said what our collective agenda for better lives and sustainable development. So they say that they all one word we all inside one word for make we life them better and make we bring about sustainable development we go whole water we go take go. Okay, that the SLPP then I say SLPP APC then they say. SLPP on the other hand, since they're not there in power for 5 years, they call their own manifesto the new direction. They say consolidating gains and accelerating transformation. So basically, waiting and they say. They say then they all the work, the good work then where they don't do, then go all and then go continue for bill on top the good work then where they don't do. Now you might want to ask yourself, right off the bat, the SLPP is claiming that they don't do over 100%. As a matter of fact, dem feel confident say they achieve over 100% of wetin dem get na their whole manifesto, wetin dem promise. And very soon, I'm going to pull out that 2018 manifesto very soon and go through the quickly go through the pillars then and make unu decide. Now them pillar then the way them say, have they achieved? Then don't really do 100% of waiting and say they go do. Mr. Cargo right off the back, we they look at waiting the two people them they try for sell giveaway in terms of the naming convention. One saying still then at the new direction. Then still then at the pathways towards the new direction. And still they working at the road of the new direction. But they want for keep and maintain waiting and don't do, waiting and don't gather, and continue for gather and eat on top. The other one say, no, we all can inside, we all the bargain inside one kotoku for make we life them better and for make we all we better one take go. What do you think about that?
Well, again, like I say, in terms of words, then can use any kind word. To me, a word like how they say talk cheap, like the same thing I go say word. In terms of the so-called, again, people that will not take this personal if I use the word so-called, because now that's then they claim. Okay, so the so-called new direction to me, it not necessarily means say wait and say new direction or the right direction. So let we able understand the distinction there. Me as somebody who strongly believe in numbers. So I just want, if you can permit me, I just want for show something.
Yeah.
Yes, where then call the poverty clock. So I don't know if it's too tiny for people them. This not the poverty clock. Where this clock they show how much over time it all improve in terms of the poverty now you country. Okay, now it kind of clear. So this now 2022. So the number of people in a Salone where they in extreme poverty as of 2022. Now three where I say extreme poverty, popolipo. Not to say you just poor, you really poor, extreme poverty. Now, 38% of the population, in terms of the number, now over 3 million people then, na Salone, out of about 8 million. Remember how they live in extreme poverty. So how will we able assess the government if they don't do something for make the people their life better? So as of 2022, the extreme poverty now 38%. Let me go back the time where they take power. So this clock, the good thing is they can go back. In 2016, now be 36%. 2017, I just the kind of try for do something here.
Yeah.
Okay. So me it all freeze. But anyways, if you look at 2016, now 36%, and now 2017, I will come back to that because for whatever reason, the thing freeze on me. But this very important. By the way, I will kind of read the numbers. When you look from even 2016 and 2017, it was around the same. But the long and short answer of this is poverty no reduce under President Bill. So if based on that statistics they say poverty no reduce, so how you go say it don't do well for the country? Because the three component. Yes, go ahead.
So basically, Mr. Kagbo, what you they tell we now? So because with us from here and everywhere around the world, how we supposed to be, you get a system of measure. You get for able see usai you take something, and if you truly want for say yes, I don't augment, I don't add on top, you for look at the two. Okay, if I've been taken, I've been one. Right now, if I want claim say I add on top, I for they see something like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. Right? So right now, what
Yes.
they tell me, Nayaso, is that if the current presidency, the current administration, they claim say, waiting them put na them 2018 manifesto. That 2018 manifesto where just give me a second one, people. Where them in called the new direction, one country, one people. The people's manifesto. Now remember, now in them in column. If waiting in the inside the people's manifesto, if indeed they accomplish, you know, then thing so where them been put inside where they say, then get for do how them call them transforming the economy. I just read the big thematic area where they been get inside the People's Manifesto in 2018. Transforming the economy, human development, improving governance, improving infrastructure, financing, and new direction, right? So now then pillars then they look at in 2018. If they say they accomplish all waiting in day, now then key sectors then they or just don't call so, and that then go over 100% and beyond. Meaning say if them put them an exam right now, I mean for say they get A++. Because when you say I have done 100% and above, remember the highest score is 100. So if you're telling me that you've done 100% and above, it means for say you get A++, there were no deficiency, there were no errors, you achieve everything. But now, the one thing that can tell us that indeed in this area you did A+, is when we look at the data. Statistics, that's not a lie. It no matter how you try for manipulate them, it's not a lie. So Mr. Kagbo is now showing us the data. Usai Salone Minde in 2018. Usai Salone people in Minde are saying subsistence living. Okay? GDP per capita. Almost people are able to afford waiting. Almost people then they live below the poverty line, which is less than $1 a day. Where was it and where is it now? And if we look at these numbers, can we can the government truly look at people them na the eye for say then get 100% and above, they achieve 100% and above in everything we then do? I will keep going back to the 2018 priority areas. I will keep going back there because remember, we cannot look at what they are presenting with us now without going 5 years back and look at what they claim they would have given us at this time. Not just listen to what you politician and they say. Not just listen to waiting then they tell you, because waiting then they feed you, now waiting and want to make you know so that you will go drop paper for them. Listen to your environment. Listen to your situation. Listen to your circumstance. Has your circumstance changed? Because if your circumstance don't change, that is an indicator. It goes showing at the data clearly. If your circumstance don't change, if you were better off, if you are better off now than you were 5 years ago, trust me, there are indicators to catch these things internationally. Salone statistic consider the totobe with tuna. But those of us who work in international development or in financing or in economics, like people like Mr. Kagbo like this, we have the data. We watch the data. We have these metrics. We watch them. We see the movement. Because not just Salone no more than they look at. Then they look at Salone, then they look at other countries them around the world. So the government and the politicians can come fool you with their big words. But us ordinary people like us, we know where we go to look at the true image of Sierra Leone. And so when some of we sit down and ask we they talk, we know they talk based on waiting statistics Salone they feed we. We know they talk based on waiting the Ministry of Communication they put nado. We know they talk based on waiting the Ministry of Social Welfare they put nado. We go into international datas. We go into the metrics and we see how is the country positioned at against other countries. Mr. Kagba, I'll make you pick them up from there.
And thank you very much. So as Abide show, we the system be freeze. So this not 2017. So 2017, the extreme poverty. By the way, again, I can always say, some people and they talk about President Kuruma. I don't get anything personally against them. They talk about President Kuruma saying that the world best leader. But look at the Usai left the country. Extreme poverty, over 2 million, like specifically 2,768,000 people them. Then be they live in abject poverty. So the country not be rosy at all where President Kuruma be take power. But if we compare now, let me try to assess the current administration. Because I can always say we able learn from the past, but we're not able to change the past. So
No.
people and they say, oh, where they talking? They talk about President Kuruma in administration. President Kuruma in administration, but then they economically we not go right home about, particularly the recklessness in terms of spending. But we say the economy of Salone grew the fastest under President Kuruma. So, but when you they assess government, you they look at the revenue and you look at the spending. If then two then they match, they kind of make sense. Say it's spend on something where improve the lives of the ordinary Salone people them. And according to the GTT report, and I will reference that in a little bit. And the answer is no. President Kuruma in administration no significantly improved the lives of the people of Sierra Leone. So I believe say now the main reason that because remember that song Tolombo no go Sidoya Angry Boku. Now the main reason that will make people then say let me try another government in the name of SLPP. So now this government, so fast forward the 5 years from 2017, we then take power 2018, because we're not going to use the 2018 number since then be part of the ERD. So now we fast forward now to 2022. So you look at this 2022, as I've shown earlier, 2022 shows say the extreme poverty rate now Salone don't increase. So 38% now. So how you go tell me say this administration make people in life better? So the question is absolutely to me not false assessment. That particular statement, then a false statement, say the people in life better. And let's show una compared to the world. Usai Salone rank. This now the 10 poorest countries then at the world. According to the assessment, then look at the gross national income per capita where you divide them by the population. I know I'm for now with the methodology. But look at this. Salone are the 5th poorest country. Now the whole world, not to Africa no more. Yes, unfortunately, 9 out of the 10 countries in Africa then they. So except for Afghanistan. And we all know about Afghanistan. So but when you look at that, this now under President Salone still be the 5th poorest country in the world. And I will pause here because I get to the statistics them where I go show, but I don't want for show too much like I will not bore una. So when you put them two together, Madam Matilda, a very clear say the president bill in administration in terms of the living standard of people them it don't improve with the statistics and not the show we saw at all. So now false narrative for let them say the president don't push Salongo before in terms of the bread and butter issue. It completely false.
Okay. See, I know the one thing where you cannot dispute. Like I always tell people, you cannot dispute the data. And I am very open. Anybody in the government, from the president, taken down, we want for dispute them data's there. Any day, anytime, they are welcome on this platform. Make them bring their own data, make them show you their source of collection, because your source of collection can be flawed. Make them show you their source of collection, and then make we go. We all can crack numbers here. We all can crunch numbers. We might not seem like it, but trust me, we are very good at crunching the numbers. And and then software, then our way. I don't even need for ask me though. Credible software that you plug the number inside they give you. With everything. But here, make me sit inside this way also now. In 2018, and like I tell you now, go back to the 2018. In 2018, the People's Manifesto, the People's Manifesto 2018, and also a human capital development. Nine be President's bill in number 1. Thematic area, priority area. And actually, human capital development wasn't the number 1. Transforming the economy was number 1, right? Transforming the economy was number 1. But inside this 20, sorry, I have to be flipping between the two of them. Inside this 20, how you might call it, 2023 one, right? Like the 2023 one with the panot so. Inside this 2023 one, enforce priority in a human capital development, right? So inside 2023, it's a human capital development. Waiting is inside the human capital development, and before I read the summation. Under human capital development, it says improving basic and senior secondary education, improving technical and higher education, improving healthcare, and then it goes empowering women, youth, and the people with disabilities, right? People with disabilities. Well, right now I think let me not go there. What the use of the word people with disabilities, I can go there, but I won't go there. Now, if we take waiting I don't talk so we're inside the manifesto currently, the 2023 manifesto, make we care and go back 5 years. 5 years ago, under human capital development, now this president will be say, then go do. Then say, improving educations and skills training, improving health care, empowering our youth, women, and the disadvantaged, empowering our youth, that's a repetition, empowering our women, which is another double repetition, because if you don't put empowering our youth, women, and the disadvantaged, there was no need to re-repeat it separately. And they go protecting persons living with disabilities and our aged, and then go protecting our children, and then the other one then go protecting and empowering our workers. When I say I don't read the two, under enforced human capital development and under right now in new, nothing has changed. The same wording. The only thing where it puts yonder, where it not puts na the aged. If you look at the 2020, the 2018 manifesto under human capital development, and you look at the 2023 under human capital development, the subsectors then, nothing changed. The big umbrella theme na human capital development, but when you begin look at the priority areas, then the wording, a shifting of wording mind and do. So if you have, right, if you have worked and have gained 100+%, you don't gain 100+% na the area there. So I expect either an addition or a minus in your priority areas then. Your priority areas then cannot be the same 5 years ago under the same thematic area as it is right now. And under human capital development, waiting and say then they do. Mr. Kagbo, if you put that up, make we see under human capital development, waiting exactly then say then do. I don't read the subsectors then for now. But here is what they said they're going to do. So, under human capital development, which was their number one, right, number one. Okay, so human capital development is number two, as they see here. But
Yes, number two.
when they write manifesto, they put them as number one. But anyways, we can still work with it and then go to number one later. It's okay. Because I've already started that, so let's not walk backwards. Let's just continue. So, which is their number two, human capital development? Then go nurturing skills for 21st century industry, inclusive economic growth, relies on skills and educated human capitals. In the next 5 years, the SLPP government will invest in developing the technical and vocational skills required to grow the economy, focusing particularly on creating equal opportunity for women. We will invest in health systems to develop a healthy and capable workforce for a 21st century. But you said the same thing. You said the same thing 5 years ago, that we're in the 21st century. As a matter of fact, you said we did at the Industrial Revolution. And because we're in the Industrial Revolution, that is why you have to develop a human capital that is industrial revolutionized ready. So, are you saying that you've made gains in these and you would like to continue? Because this statement here not tell me any such thing. It is written as though you are proposing a new idea. But this is not a new idea. Like I say, the 2018 areas of priority and the 2023 areas of priority as listed, they are identical. Identical in the sense that you can find the same commonalities, the same thread. The only thing that is different is the word formation. So, Mr. Kagbo, for me, after 5 years, human capital development was something they campaigned on heavily. After 5 years, why I not even think say at this point? Because this man came, he talk about the fourth industrial revolution. And waiting in they do for secure, for make sure say the youths of Sierra Leone, that critical mass of young people, the way we get, that young energy, the way we get, they tap into it and you make good use of it. Instead, what we realize is a plethora of car washes all over the place.
Well, again, I know say you na communication specialist, so let me give them the benefit of the doubt, because I know say you did look at the technicality of it, saying probably then for use the word strengthening, you know, instead of seeing like a brand new, like a brand.
Don't do this. If I was evaluating this statement, no, the evaluation would do.
No, you're right. No,
I am
you're
not
right.
going to plead the fifth. I'm not going to plead the fifth on this one.
No, you're right.
Listen, just say if they bring a project in front of my desk right now, and I have to evaluate the merit of that project, the criteria of that project. Why should I be convinced that the Canadian taxpayers' money should sponsor this project at this particular time in any given country? And I put my signature on top and say, yes, it's a go. I'm evaluating the manifesto likewise. If I dey do am for country in wey not today are born, when are the nationality normal I take by the grace of God, and I do it successfully and put it out there, why should I not do it for my country of birth? Why make her for chicken out on them? We talk about clear writing. We talk about clear communications of thoughts. If I look at that, you are proposing something new to me. You're not telling me that this is something that you have done and that you want to augment on. Show me the language that tells me that you have achieved this much. However, you're not where you ought to be, or where usa you feel so you for day. And so therefore, you want to strengthen what you have done and build on. That is not the language I am getting. And many people are not telling me for say go inside, go read the manifesto. I don't read them. I don't get time for carry that for now, but I don't read them.
Yes. Again, I agree with you 100%. Saying the language, the interpretation of it, now exactly that. It's interpreted as a new project. So it all come across as them building on that project day. So, and now one of the things then this with the politicians them, for whatever reason, they don't take the Salone people for granted, because place like Lewaya, you get for give them a measure, because where they get even in business administration and generally how you'd able to assess a project, you get for look at the before and after, and then even so you get for before then the assessments you get for set a goal, and this goal supposed to be achievable, attainable goal, and say okay, well, in 5 years, just like how rightfully them put on for that job where he say within 5 years we want create 500,000 jobs. But we don't even hit the detail. It's just funny. Then throw everything but a 500,000. Then they talk about seasonal job, part-time job, and probably will push out their all day for that job day. So the new people where they start for push wheelbarrow, because not talk they say it go lays with the government, I mean the private sector. So somebody where just they push wheelbarrow and make money for the first time, it go be considered for that 500,000 number day. So that's how general it be in terms of within 5 years then go create 500,000 new jobs, because it say then go collaborate with the private sector, which is the right thing, but how then go do them ain't not completely clear. So yes, I agree with you 100%. And the thing again with troubling is where the president make them clear, say they don't complete them from A to Z and even beyond Z, if any letter exists beyond Z. So that's how they achieve all waiting and saying at the manifesto. So to your point, if that's not the case, there's no need for bring this one again as a new project. They're supposed for them take them off. Like all the things where them put where na be there na that previous manifesto, then for them take them off. Until we say yes, they don't provide this, they don't provide that, they don't provide this. So but again, I want in the interest of the people, them, yeah, in the interest of the people.
To be specific, Mr. Kagbo, waiting me being for don't like for see. If even Sefna a small paragraph, I know waiting your human capital under human capital development, waiting you been put 2018. Let me take few examples here. You say improving educations and skills training. Tell me when you come in 2018. Show me the data. Usai education and skills training Minde. Break them down for me, make I understand which form of is it tertiary education, is it whatever education? Break them down for me. Give me the data, give me the percentage. And now in 2018, where you are, and why education should be improved and increased upon. That is what I want to see. Not just they give me broad stroke language. Show me how protecting our children, what do you mean by that? When you came in 2020, what in the data say, what you have done to drive that data for increase them to waiting you feel say it right now, will make you say you get A++ for that. Don't just give me words. Show me the numbers. Show me how you arrive at the numbers. Show me how you collect the numbers then. If even self now within a brief short sentence, show it to me. If even self you do like, how they call it, a quick chat to show it to me. We're all capable of reading charts and graphs. Show it to me so I understand, so I can actually say, yes, this person get right for tapping self na the back, for giving self kudos and say, I be meeting 0. Na me don't work say I don't bring and come. Like what you say, over Z. And if there is a letter over Z, then yes, I have achieved that margin or have achieved that letter.
So it look like say we dey go in details. So that means we will need for do the SLPP manifesto tonight, and then this is an association. It's up to you as the host. Then we can for do the APC one next Saturday because we not get much time. Given that there's a lot for unpack Naya, so I don't know if that's okay by you, and maybe
We do not have the time to go into detail. The truth is, we do not have the time to go into detail. I'm just saying, and in my analysis, I'm just saying that that's what I would have loved to see. It's not there. You gave me big words. You gave me grandiose expectation. That's what I would have loved to see. That's all I am saying. If I take this one so I compare to the APC one, to be honest with you, in the APC one, many of you might not agree with me, but here is how I see it. If I look at human capital development, how then lay a mobile. If I can at the APC manifesto, I look at the APC manifesto, and they take point 3, 4, and 5. They are all together. And here is why I say they are all together. When you look at point 3, what are they looking at? Thematic area, key priority area number 3. They say intensify efforts in job creation and the establishment of pathways for every adult, especially the youth and women, to earn a living wage. If you look at 4, waiting and going to say, accelerate investment in our people with a specific focus on capabilities of our children, women, and youth. When you go to 5, what are they putting there? They go accelerating investments in physical. No, there's another one. Sorry, just give me a second here. I'll grab it. I know
again,
Verse 2, addressing economic deficiencies and cost of living crisis at the structural level. So if I put 2 and 4 together, if I put 3 and 4 together, that is the human capital development angle of the SLPP. Mr. Kagbo, go ahead.
Yeah, with for let we viewers them go able get much out of this is let we take because if you kind of they interchange them probably easy for like them confuse.
They
So
might
let we
confuse that.
yes, so let we deal with the SLPP like how you talk about the human capital development. You rightfully don't pick them up. So that again now another indicator say is misleading. The assertions say they don't do them. Because otherwise, if therefore we don't tick on them, probably the wording for be different. You know, say okay, well maybe with the strengthening. But I don't know if maybe that nurturing will be considered, will qualify that. But when you look at the description of it, it come through like a new policy stance, not just something where they build on. But let we because like I say, for me, I want for a TDNC that bread and butter issue where they say they want for focus on because the
Yeah.
manifesto talk a lot about waiting they don't do. So me as I be promised upfront, say I want for show people them so far from outside and take over to now waiting don't happen. If you can permit me, let we do
Please
that.
go ahead.
And then this self go set the stage for where we want for talk about the APC manifesto because the same claim where the SLPP, the Bureau administration claim, where then take over. So now that same thing they. I just want again. I don't want for do boku boku reading na yeah, but I just want for remind people them very quickly of this. This now the GTT report. It highlights most of the things that maybe they go wrong. This paragraph. So again, I will sort of just quickly zoom through them. An astonishing level of fiscal indiscipline and rampant corruption by the former APC government of President Anes Koroma had led to the near collapse of the Sierra Leone's economy by the time the government of President Julius Maada Bio was sworn into office. The economy was left burdened with external debt amounting to 1.6 billion, domestic debt amounting to 4.99 trillion or 658 million, and an exploded payroll, that's the salary and other compensation for government employees, of 2 trillion leons, which is equivalent of, at the time with the right term, 263 million or 14.4% of the GDP. So I want to tap here for now, then talk about the debt, and then talk about the economy near collapse, then talk about the salary, the wage bill. So now the
Yeah.
question, yes, now let we dissect them tier we then put together. And by the way, let read another
No,
part where
Mr. Kagbo.
let read the bottom part. The national currency became moribund, trading at 7,600 to a dollar. I want for other side. Okay. So when you look at then components, then the first thing first, the debt. Say under President Koroma, the debt, according to the word where they use, say the debt burden
Burden.
1.6 billion. By the way, for people Salone GDP, because this na thing way we need for easily make them known to people let able understand. So the GDP the debt to GDP. GDP is about slightly over $4 billion. Okay, so this not the debt. Let's show now the current this now government debt to
Mr.
GDP.
Kagbo,
Okay, so the term we then take over the debt to GDP was slightly over 69%. Where to me, I will definitely say President Kuruma, get no business for trust that much. Where the country at one point, but they even grow at one point, it grew by 20%. But again,
20%.
and I don't want to labor on that. Look at what it is now. It is 75% of GDP. So take 75% of over slightly over 4 billion. So me fumble them and not go past $1.6 billion, where they really highlight rightfully about President Kuruma. So that's now one aspect. So I go pause there and let you tell me if the debt level don't reduce. And if it not reduce, then why then say the burden of debt now be issue? So if not be issue, then why enough for be issue now? Whose justification then get for let it not be issue? So two things here, where the burden even more than under President Kuruma. That debt don't go up significantly, and also interest rates don't go up around the world. So meaning the burden right now where we get for waiting and call for manage the debt, a more than the burden will be get under President Kuruma. So meaning that assertion say they manage the economy better. I go come to other indicators them than they self. I go look na the eye and say not to true. Now false statement say they encourage they be very fiscally responsible. I go pause there and again before I pause something just come up. That salary where they say the wage bill, not in order for that to home about. They justify and say, oh, more teacher and stuff. But let's look at the statistics. Then we see them say, now issue back then, and why enough of the issue? The wage bill, it's way more than, according to them, they said previously about 14%. Now it's way more than 14%. So then they self go tell una say, waiting the right say not be good under APC, it don't worsen under this administration. I pause there for now.
See, Mr. Kagbo, you know the reason why make I deliberately not go to the transitioning report? I deliberately did not go there. Because a few days ago, I got the copy, a binded copy as a matter of fact, of the government's transition document. I go inside it, I look at the summary. I watch the summary, I watch the figures. And then I just go no more, I look at the last Auditor General report. Just the last Auditor General report, where for the first time since the establishment of the Auditor General office, they now audit the office of the First Lady. They now audit the office of the Vice President. They now audit the office of the President. Now, not knowing the expenditure incurred by these three offices, where I can always they tell the SLPP supporters, they say, you can support all you want to support, but don't support blindly. When you see wrong, call wrong out. When you see right, call right out. You're sitting there justifying the non-auditing of these three offices because now a political party they in power. If the other political party comes into power and does so, would you have a finger to point? And what would that finger be? So I sit down to myself, I watched the report then this morning, and I said to myself, even without the auditing of those three offices, excluding them, the wage bill, the expenditure, the debt to GDP ratio is so high, is so significantly high. So now, if I put this, listen, that report is a joke. The numbers in that report right now is like ancient history. We are talking about something, the history where they're going to teach we where we mama and papa themselves not been done born it. We know that this government has bloated, when I say over, not even bloated, over bloated the wage bill. Over bloated the wage bill. Donsu and dancer, all they get paid inside this government. Alata self will be run. Just pass no more the hall. Self they get paid. So I intentionally move away from that report. I intentionally move away from the enormity of we burden. We financial burden where we dey inside right now. And waiting that they signify for the economy, waiting that they signify for, generations yet unborn. I just didn't want to go there because it hurts, it pains me too much to go there. When people are vuvuzeling and dancing and clapping in the name of politics and political symbols and affiliation, there are real issues. There are real issues. There are real significant problems. Like, listen, Salone in terms of development, in terms of economy, in terms of monetary discipline, we are doomed. It's going to take like a concerted effort, stringent, fiscal policy for even bring we back closer to the borderline. This government not care about fiscal discipline. When you're on the outside, it is easy to shout. But when you're in the inside, what you do, now they determine whether you were serious, crying wolf on the outside. Obviously, they don't demonstrate in all aspects, shape, and form that for them it was just about having a title. I'm not saying they're not the way they not do well or way they not try pan. You cannot say, because if I can't say do well right now, I know how I can cut me voice them, they run with up. Where they not try pan. But there are many things where you promise the people. For example, the economy will be fixed in 60 days. Give us 60 days. We have had time to sit. We have been in waiting. We don't get time for sit down. We don't observe. We don't do the analysis there. We don't do the calculations there. We don't set the machine going. Now for make we vote for, we know make we can transform, make we can implement. 5 years later, yes, the world economy is not doing well. It's not doing that great. But the world economy, not to make Salone economy, they usai they so. Now monetary, fiscal indiscipline, now make Salone economy, they usai they so right now. Greed, avariciousness, now bring Salone economy to usai they so right now. So let us not use the world atmosphere for give excuses to usai we dey so right now, to usai we fen we self so right now. We could have done better. We had the potential to do better, but avariciousness and greed did not allow us to go there. If you could not fix the economy in 6 months like you promised, once you got in there, it was about, buffering your coffers, your personal coffers, walking around with suitcase traveling bag money of dollars and foreign currencies. Now na been depan. And now you're asking that same people for say, give it 3 months, we go fix the economy. If you didn't do it in 6, how will you do it in half? Mr. Cargo, continue.
Well, again, I don't look at the the debt we didn't talk about, and I don't show now, say really. And another thing where again me, as I say, I know they do this for tell somebody because now they God given right for belong to whatever association, organization or association they want. So but me they do all this for let people and go able for use informed decision. Make informed decision where they want for go vote. So here is another aspect. Again, I still please fumble them. The phone line they open. Una can call anytime and we'll be glad for letting ourselves rob much by this discussion. So here is another component because again, then talk about the economy be the near collapse. And normally, by economics, the key indicator what they look at, I use the word key because you don't get one single indicator we will tell you the whole picture. We're going to show you the whole picture. But GDP growth, it is show how the economy they expand. So again, for people that we not understand, within our GDP, our gross domestic product, this now the goods and services where they take place in the country. It not necessarily means say if not the government, even private sector, even that omolanke, as long as you will put monetary value to within the service where you they render, it be part of the GDP. So when you put all this together, it is show you the health of the country in better one, the economy of the country. So let us show una the GDP. The term where they be take over, by the way, the term where they be write that GTT report now be 3.7% for 2017. But I see that I'll adjust them now, revise them, I should say. So now 4.2, the term where they be take over with the last GDP report. So 4.2, when I say the economy be the near collapse. As of 2022, now 3.8. So waiting, we will interpret them. So meaning that the economy they grow slower than way una be taken. Again, una talk about the Russian situation and whatnot. Look at the difference. In 2020, the economy contracted by 2%, -2, the GDP. Look at under President Kuruma, Ebola. We all know say the impact of Ebola, it way more than the impact of Corona na Salone. We all know that. Where Ebola be there, the country completely economic activities was a standstill. People are not be able for they go. Corona time, people are be still they go Salone. So the economy not stand still at all. So for like owners say that's not justification. But look at the rebound after a decline or contraction, as what they call them, of over 20%, 20.6% in 2015. The following year, the economy grew by 6.1%. So again, to be fair enough, under President Kuruma, the economy, if they do the right thing for stimulate the economy, some people like the administration say, oh, iron orbit, a boom and all that. But guess what? If they put policies them in place where they discourage economic activities, we don't probably see this type of growth. So not to say out of the blue, the economy by itself just they grow without the proper policies. The thing where I really, as Sierra Leonean, upset about the way how President Kuruma handled the economy is even where the country be they grow, we still be they see, say the country be they go into deficit. So if Salone they grow by over 20%, whose justification really President Kuruma, former President Kuruma, go tell people and say, we not for be see budget surplus. the revenue not for more than what you they spend, but what they do, they engage in reckless spending. So to me, that title saying as the best world president, now me ask they run themselves for think that. But let me look at the assessment during the 2 period here. So the economy rebound by 6.1% after huge decline. But look at 2021. After we see decline in 2020, it only grew by 4%, and now it only reduced 3.8%. So if you say at 4.2%, the economy be there near collapse, bo, uswadu for use. I don't know, Sister Matilda, you know the communication specialist. Tell me, uswadu for you. If 4.2%, the economy they near collapse. So now the economy grow by 3.8%. So mathematically, we not say 4.2 is higher than 3.8%. So dear friend word for Wiba, waiting the economy they do right now. As you know the communication specialist.
Make a candle in the closing, because if I say the word right now, the show they lock.
All right. Well, okay. Now I want to go back, if you can permit me, to this thing saying that the Russian war and all that. Let me look at Salone inflation, and then we look at other countries there inside Africa inflation. Because remember, Salone not in no more than the war. Other countries themselves then are the same world, right? So we know they're in a different planet. The same planet where Salone they now the same planet the other country than they. So for let una make sense of whether or not una go accept that excuse day of saying that because of Russia or the global economy, I go show una the numbers. Me fumble them. Let us show now the number here. Okay. So in terms of Salone inflation versus other country them, and una be the judge whether or not una for buy this excuse where the country they give or where the government they give. Again, for me, it's all about the numbers here. I just want to make sure say I give una the numbers. Look at Salone. So una see now like I don't know like how they say again, no disrespect, but this now like where we small where they say kite cut, where just they go they fly. Look at Salone inflation even before the Russian war, it be done they go up. So for say Russia and all that, but let me give the administration the benefit of the doubt. Say because of now Russia. But let me compare Salone versus the other African countries them and see who size Salone rank. Where they self na part of the world. So Salone in terms of Africa, inflation Africa, now the third highest inflation as of April 2023. Now the recent number this, and from March even not go up. So it look like say it not get any way for turn the now up. So as of April 2023, now 43%. Me God are selling people them. Zimbabwe, if Nadia be there, I will say the government don't try because the term under Mugabe, inflation be there over 2,000%. Yes. So for let them be and come to 86%, that's kudos to them. Sudan, we all know say Sudan, look the war and all that way they go now. So but Salone. So for all the other African countries, them Salone the third highest. Now the same planet Earth where we did. Look at African countries, them the lowest inflation. Chile, now small country, they even get negative, meaning that the price don't even go down. Now the same planet Earth. Burkina Faso, look, then get problem with the politics, where the coup and all that. Inflation day in less than 1%, 0.2%, you don't even reach 1%. So this now the list go down. So look at this and tell me, say why we not go say Salone for the among them country here. Instead, even Liberia, we neighbors them. Single digit inflation. The last time I checked, less than 10%, about 8 point something percent. Give me inflation when I'm military, and way below, less than 15%. So whose justification was pass alone? Government go say now because of Russia. Then country we get low inflation. They're not doing at the world, not a part of the world, then they. So my brothers and sisters, then una not allow politicians then for full una. Let her appeal directly to my brothers and sisters them within the SLPP government, where they support SLPP as SLPP supporters. Una stop for the bread matter for this administration. The APC people then do under President Koma. Now una they do under President Bill. Not to them people then they una they help. Now the country una they destroy. Because as a supporter, if you patriotic enough, you for ask question. You get, if I go to the inflation by region, the southern region, where una go say a stronghold of SLPP, then get the highest inflation rate in the country. Why una go not go pause and say, wait to? I don't think this not the right person for the for the country. We need change. Just like how una request change during APC. Again, I need to tell you now that for vote because I get 13 candidates them. This not to advocate, I advocate for APC, but clearly this administration not get a clue because for lack they still they give excuses from where they come on, excuse over excuse over excuse, and I just don't show now the numbers. So why SLP the government of President Bio for the Senate because of Russia makes Salone they see inflation now 43%. So then country the way I show. Then they use Russia oil, then they use oil, then they use petrol, then they use all the other resources them at Salone, but yet they will keep inflation on the check. I go pause here because I get plenty of the statistics that I go show, where go show clearly. So the government not in the right direction. I use the word right direction. Who don't know they vote for, that's up to now. But as economist, well, look at the numbers here. The government's not in the right direction. And I will show now, probably in closing, IMF, the assessment of the administration. And they even give projection as to whose size Salone will be in the next 5 years. When you look at them, in the next 5 years, they expect say the government will continue for spend more than the revenue way they get. So meaning that outside them go put a difference there. Now trust them for trust them. And when them trust them, then get what we call then get for the manage the debt. So where that amount they increase, you know what it go mean? It go mean say that money where them for put per project them because then get for manage then debts, then they pay high interest and all that, then not get for able for fulfill all the promise where they promise so.
The thing about this, Mr. Cargo, is that what this government has heavily dependent, and this not to just this government alone, even the past government, and most governments, as a matter of fact, within the continent of Africa, which is a shame, really. But since na Salone they talk, but make us sit up and Salone, is the fact that they will write lofty excuses and show as to why at this particular term they cannot not function, double negation there, they cannot not function because if IMF not give them some disbursement. And that day we see happen last week. Where we get all of them data there, we get all of them numbers there. The very IMF, what I tell you, with man no go commoner in country can make you country for you. You want puel your country, then go help you puel them in whichever way you decide for puel them. Because guess what? Their priority is to make theirs better. They themselves are suffering right now. They themselves they go through physical stress situations. They themselves they go through a lot of difficulties. Then they themselves they go through high inflation. They themselves the how they call them the interest rates them not stable right now like how it used to be stable. So they also have their own stressors that they are dealing with. So if you decide for misbehave and not handle your own stressors and they above no more and give me no, put for me no, they will continue to put for you. So long as they have some pocket, some wiggle room, some basket fund somewhere where they can pull it from and put for you, because you are not with it and you do not want to be with it. And when they talk to you, they bring straight talk cantona. What they do? The Holmes, the head of mission or the special envoy, they write letter, make them take them go back. Because waiting and they say not satisfied with una, not agree with una. Because one for always they get, always they collect. That is what happened in Sierra Leone last week. Like I said, they work inside, they work in international development. And I also they work in communication. As a matter of fact, I'm very fortunate to be practicing both concurrently at the same time. Not all my way study something. They will practice something way study at the same time. But I'm lucky in that aspect. So what happened to una right now? Where some, I am sorry to say this, but some of we gullible brothers and sisters that we say that they support political party, they jump, yay! IMF don't give it 20 million, release, yay! If you only knew. If you only knew that that money is not towards your edification, but it is towards your detriment. If you understand the unfolding, the intricacies, the complexities of all the money then they, and waiting it mean, and why nations, especially nations like Sierra Leone, for strive, not for constantly they go to IMF and the World Bank for good return. Now you they jubilate. Oh, the president they work, they do well. See, if we not been there, you see, I God, aye. May God make God open, make it expand with craniums them. We modular obligatas them. Make it expand them. Make we think beyond. And talk something proper. This argument are
interrupt you quick. Let interrupt you quick though, because this now warning. Somebody be don't watch VOS and he say what they talk big English them. It be one time they watch with in granny and in granny end up for cry. So dear beg no make other person granny cry. So dear, I'm a break time now for people left. Because the granny will say the boss in the insult time. So dear, I beg. I just want to let you reduce for people dear. But anyway, so I could continue. I just want for make a light moment out of it. But it's very serious. I got very good.
Dear mama, no one make you cry. Me now you grand pikin, no cry. Dear big man, no cry, you no make no granny cry now. So as a matter of fact, I am the daughter of all the mama and the granny them. You wouldn't imagine how many messages I can get. Oh, my mother loves you. She always watches you. She's always praying for you. And by the way, even as I say this, for those of you who've never met me, you've only seen me through this medium, and you can put your knees on the ground and say, Abba, Father, protect and watch over her. May God watch over you and yours. But what I be the try for say is that this why also where the fans thinking they can clap. Yeah, if the president not been they do well, if the administration not been they do well, they're not being for. Don't disburse this much, this much, this much. But let me tell you something. In international development, we have what we call strategic release and strategic how you call it, strategic partnership. It means for say some money then they way then they keep in a corner, where then they disburse, then they put them there intentionally because they know it is to come. Why make them they do that? They don't want to make a country go into so much of a dry spell, especially, make I tell you something, Sierra Leone still is considered a fragile state in many international development sphere. And within many developed countries, Sierra Leone is still considered, they still consider Salone as a fragile state, right? Because we not don't show stringent discipline, we not don't show say really we are with it. So sometimes they can put them mechanisms that they in place, then get basket funds them, where the big five and other people they were able to contribute inside. For make them release the stressors, that way they una no go calm, they not go be obligated for send peace builders then go over to una, for they send international relief go over to una, for they go make a release for make them do how they call it fundraising, international fundraising, or for bring rescue, do a rescue mission to the nation. So they get all the layers of strategies the way they can they apply. So when they can they disburse some of them money, so not because Salone is doing well, not because the indicators and numbers of Salone, they also is supposed for they and they are pleased with it and they are saying, oh, you know what, we can blow our fear right now. No, it's a banded mechanism so they can keep the country afloat so there will not be a cataclysm. I don't know how else for breaking down to now. That is all how I can break. So when you see this money being heavily disbursed or these funds being released last minute, especially by the IMF and by the World Bank, don't jubilate. Trust me, don't jubilate. Mr. Kago, continue.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for that. Again, I just want to make it clear the difference between way it in a GTT report, why IMF suspend the release of additional funds to the then Coma administration. Now, because IMF, anytime they give them money, they don't want for let you to go to them frequently, so that they ask you for restructure. So for make some adjustments where the thing will cause for let you go to them, let that thing they now continue for they create that situation where you go need IMF assistance. So part of the requirement them for let them disburse the additional money where they be done promise. So again, now a fund we then call extended the one way the then people and the glady for I go come day. But again, then call them extended credit facility. It just tell like way you get your bank account.
Mr. Kago,
Yes.
Mr. Kago, make I not cut you what they are. The one thing I want for say with their extended credit facilities there so is that many a times these governments hope also once they've utilized these funds and their economies are not doing well, which they intentionally sometimes do, then they apply for debt relief. And then they are going to tell you. See,
Well, that, yeah, yeah, then they self get conditions. Then they make for, and again waiting then do they be suppose for don't come back to IMF the conditions the IMF give them for restructure. So they say, okay, well, for right now, we there at dire situation. They use the Ukraine situation and say, well, we're not able for do the restructuring it. We want for let una extend the time. So now IMF say, okay, because of the country, it is, like how you say, rightfully say, that they look at the situation of the country. So even where the conditions then where IMF be put initially, they not be meet that conditions then they because I just show una the spending is still reckless under the previous administration, under this administration. So, but because of the I want to use peculiar, but because of the situation, really tough. So IMF don't extend, say, okay, well, we will come back. We don't do the review and everything. Yes, the country still need help. So we go give now up until November of 2023 for like una put in place reforms them where will make we glad for now. I dey talk about plain Creole. So una know wetin this mean? Where JJ Safa, somebody talk by the way, say let VOS invite JJ Safa. Mr. Safa, you're welcome. You can even call right now and challenge me. Say let we make JJ Safa explain how it will fix the economy in 3 months. Given waiting I know, then again now another false promise. Because you look at the trajectory.
I don't know why politicians like for constantly they put Botona, Sierra Leone and their aid. All
because
them put Botona people their aid. Why?
but you remember, Madam Matilda, you be get a guest on Thursday. We say one thing. It say Salone people they vote based on tribe, region, and then canteen and they vote on the issues. They vote on the person incompetence. They vote on even for whatever reason. It put on brilliantly. That's the Professor Kande. It put on Jimmy Kande. It put on brilliantly. It said people and they do this thing where in the end they even hurt themselves. And that's how terrible with politics in a salon. How you go so vote for a political party because you feel say majority of your tribe they support that party day, because your parents them support that party day, because that party they predominantly the stronghold in your region, and then you they suffer. Team for it triangle. Hey boy. So now that kind and a clear description of waiting they go on right now. So again, you look at that IMF thing. This dear I beg una share this message. I won't left until the end, but let not forget. A GTT una all the feel say austerity na bad word. We go see austerity after whether not President Bio Wino, Samoa Wino, for let IMF after November, for let IMF release additional money. I think they don't release 20 point something million for now. For let them release additional money on a get for cut big time on our policies them. They even won. I go show now maybe in the end. They even won the Bank of Salone. Say in need for stop for the trust the government money. If they want for less Salone stay afloat. So this not to guess. This now based on IMF projection. Salone una bless una self for austerity inside 2013 and 23. Not to next year, but after the election, after November. Maybe, again, I say maybe if a new administration come in, this is not a campaign, oh, this is not the reality. If a new administration come in, maybe that administration, they go advocate for extension. Maybe, but this administration, they don't ask for extension. IMF don't extend them till November of 2023. If they're not cut down, they use the word contractionary policy. What do you mean?
Yeah. It means cut them.
Exactly. So you get like that bloated wage bill again for calm down, and plenty of the other programs the way they promise fiti fata. And this brings me to that question where you ask, how realistic it be for them program here, whether they promise, and not realistic at all. Who said they pull the money? And Salone not get that opportunity for go trust money on the side, apart from IMF, World Bank, because like Ghana, them they don't establish that situation whereby they restructure themselves and they're able to go to the stock market. The government sell government security, because now that way the government can trust money na the stock market. Wetin that they mean? It means say government get a paper where it is say all this paper, this na promissory note. This paper then get different maturity. Maturity meaning the tell where they go take them back to you from you.
Now like book. Make I just take and down to them. That paper there, the security now like book. Like where they say you carry book go to person. Say look me book. This na me book. If I not give you this thing by so and so term, look me book. Now like guarantee for make you get waiting you won't forget.
Yeah, well, in any case, in addition to what you say, so this paper, they say, I promise, say, I go pay you back the full amount, what we call principal, after 5 years, if not 5 year security. It can be 1 year. In fact, it can start from 1 month. It can be 3 months. It can be 1 year. It can be 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, 7, 10 years. We get them now, yeah. So then they put the time and say, yeah, this, and I will pay you interest by the money where you did pay for this paper. So that interest, I will pay them every 6 months. That's how it work. So now that make them talk about, say, for manage the debt. So now some of them thing in the way you get for they pay the interest before the money are mature. Before you finally pay the person in original money where it trusts you, you get for they pay interest. So they call them debt servicing. So then interest here, you they service the debt. So imagine if IMF stop, they suspend this extended credit facility. Who side the government get for trust for fulfill all their lofty promises here. They not get clean record for go like how Ghana can go na the stock market and go give them paper here and take money from investors them where anybody any sign of the world go able for say, okay, well, I'll buy this security because Salone government can get the act together and I expect, say, the country economy go revamp. I go expect, say, something go well where revenue go increase. So then go able for fulfill the obligation. Remember that promise. Say, I go pay you interest and then after whatever maturity time, I go pay you the full money it was to me. If you don't get confidence So that person where they can take you money, they go pay you back. You go trust them? Absolutely not. So Salone no get that good name. Given the way where the economy the way where the government them from Bio now take calm down to President Kaba. Because again na the new democracy. And what not gets that kind prestige there for let people able to trust the government. So the government it get limited room for trust money. So which is why IMF they say for let we continue for trust you, where we save one for assure get the assurance say you go to pay interest per the money where you they take, you therefore cut down on certain things then. So when I see how gladdy like how Matilda say, gladdy enough for the party. So we for they ask the government now, if we not spend the money, who sound go pull money for service the debt. During that time when I get for pay interest only. And interest rates don't go up. Who sound go pull money? So you see Usai make us say, what make us say, Salone are so sorry for me people them, really. It's so sad. But then therefore brace themselves for austerity. Austerity simply mean you cut down your spending, and while you do that, you get for prioritize programs them. Certain programs then they will not get for able to do because the money not in it. Now then the austerity mean. So until they will facing a bad word, but it come. If the government want for avoid that and need for begin now, I know say they're not going to do them before the election, gonna 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, but me fumble them and not be fooled by SLPP, even APC. Unfortunately, and they put the word unfortunately, if Samoa Kamara win, the way how President Koroma and then President Bio, they recklessly don't push the country into so much debt. Dr. Samoa Kamara, it gets small room for develop that country there. It get for take a long time. So again, like I say, if not a President Bio, any other president possibly go win. The only leverage we go get is for appeal to IMF say, okay, well, una give it time. And other people are where they owe. Because then go we get domestic debt as well, whether they go to commercial bank and stuff like that. By the way, while are they at this? The other sad reality is we don't even know waiting na the current reserve of the country.
Because
We don't know.
have any right.
Exactly. So the Auditor General will for look into all renting and day, how do they spend? Waiting happen. They don't suspend them. And the supporters them appalling supporters of SLPP for long feel say that then a good move. By the way, allow remind you now, where the government be take over just after we then sworn in President Bill, the GTT report, most of waiting and claim where they write for that report day now from the Auditor General report.
Yeah.
So if the Auditor General report una believe say is very, very good for all APC accountable, why enough for good for una if really una they claim say una fiscally responsible, una transparent, una not corrupt? Why? Because that particular institution there now in the eye for the Salone people them. Now in there for expose una. And if una read the GTT report, then give President Koroma kudos where now him pass a bill and say the Auditor General report, therefore make them public, therefore publish them, and then commend them for that. But look what will happen now. Like how you say, they make exclusion the person where them put the say for take over the former, well, I'm not going to say former, but the suspended Auditor General. So, for audit the office of the president, not for audit the office of the vice president, not for audit the office of the first lady. Me fumble them. Then they as Salone person force, not as SLPP supporter, as Salone person force. Then they for sweet you, say somebody they just spend you money and say let nobody not check them. Hey, but me fumble them. Like appeal to our conscience. Una put the country first, not to just for say am. So whether now you papa, now the president, this kind way things then they go so, and not good for the country at all. I go pause there.
The thing is that word puts the country first, puts Salone first, puts nation first. I don't think a lot of people understand the true meaning of waiting it mean for put country first. It means depriving oneself of any gains, depriving oneself of any access, depriving oneself of anything unlawful, depriving oneself of anything we go put the country, the development, the advancement of the country as a whole in jeopardy, just for your own selfish benefits. So you see that thing where Mr. Kagbo, where I begin with, where Mr. Kagbo continue. That was book business, where Englishman can call collateral. Yeah, over in this side of the woods, they're like, do you have any collateral? Some people like you say, my car is my collateral, my house is my collateral. Over where we come from, now that was book. Most of the time, now the collateral. The term done the near. Where the World Bank, therefore can ask una for your own collateral. That austerity, it is coming. Anescoma evade them. And when I say evade them, he refused to go into austerity. And now one of the things, and then they will cost the APC the election in 2018.
Well, actually declare austerity, but it just not extend them before the election,
Yes.
because if we don't take
Exactly.
away the subsidies on less and subsidies on fuel, it will create additional burden on the people. So you not do them, you not do them, and I make the IMF suspend the additional disbursement. So
Exactly.
again, they mislead people. Them feel say now because he kind of the reckless behavior. Yes, that could be part of it, but the main reason now because do waiting they ask them for do. When I for take out the subsidies them and beyond now. Again, sorry for the interruption. So just for let people then get this as an example, when President Bill came for ego able convince IMF, because not to the individual IMF suspend the money against. No, now the country, exactly the government, the country. So for let BO go ask IMF for continue like for lift the suspension. What did he get for do? It take out the subsidies from fuel and the subsidies from yes, and I make with a see significant increase in the price of rest and fuel, in addition to all the other reckless spending. But this again, the one people them say if Samoa win, when I not expect say go turn things around very quickly. Maybe it go put a band-aid if you get good policies them. It go put a band-aid on the suffering. But for let things turn around very quickly, it will be very, very difficult. So Salone, whether not President Bio or President the only other person we get for come, it get for do waiting IMF ask for that austerity. It come will not get for escape them. So I just want to make that clear with the Anescoma and Bio example. Not because of President Bio a face fine make IMF resume the reimbursement. Now because it do waiting former President Kuma refuse for do. So I just want to make that very clear. Over to you.
Yeah. No, so basically, this now me closing. So basically, like I've been the talk, that Osbook situation get for come. That collateral situation get for come. That austerity, whether we like it or not, it's get for come. So I just want to show on how sometimes politicians then play on the mind of the people. Just like I've been saying. Closer to the election, President Koroma at his time refused for take away the subsidy on petrol, on unrest. Petrol, where people then rely on because we, for go around transportation, we're a busing community. And then rest, when a very important meal to the people, right? Now it's staple, na Salone. So if you IMF, they can look 10 minutes to election, they can tell and say, you need for pull that subsidy, they come out. If they look, you say you crazy, you are make me people in turn for me. But even with that, thing be done so bad that even though he refused for how they call them, for put the subsidy, for pull the subsidy come out, they still ended up somewhere unpleasant at the second rounds of election. But you see what in this on the current administration do, where they come, the thing where Koroma refuse for do, nine then do, so that they go get the money. Una listen, when I give a lie to una, Koroma refused to do. We have gone and negotiated, and we have put back the face of Sierra Leone and made it, likable to our partners, and our partners are now willing to listen to us, and so therefore they've indulged and have given us what we've asked for. Big BS. When you're working with international, especially the International Monetary Fund, trust me, these people don't bend just because you think you can sweet talk them. Sweet talk how they work with them people and they will. No, you have to prove within reasons for my make them for even lend you world money, because that couple they serve not to their own couple. Remember, now other people and they give them then couple then they. So they also owe accounts to other people. That is what you people don't understand in this whole machinery. So when President Biokam, that thing when President President Koroma refused for do, nine can do. He added the subsidy in the petrol. He added the subsidy in the rest. He put on top the price. So with that, IMF now say, okay, we go give you this money now. We go begin now for give una the disbursements there now for help una and make una waiting in court. But waiting IMF not be, I think say, and they warned him about it. But what IMF did not think he would do, which he ended up doing, was to bloat the wage bill. IMF did feel say, and Koroma your wage bill being bloated. Until they can see Shegemu over here. Mr. Kagbole for laugh. This is not a theater they do right now, not a drama. I know some people like if you see they talk with dramatic expressions, but I am serious because sometimes when I use this my little quack languages, you understand where I'm going. IMF thought that they had this business under control. That okay, this guy is willing to play ball. He's going to listen. He's added back there is no subsidy on rice and that, what have you, blah blah blah. Is playing with us. But what they did not plan for was the overly extended wage bill that Bio is now going to add, which is going to overly stress the economy. Push the economy beyond stretch. As a matter of fact, from Boto it taken to Penda. That is exactly what happened. In the days of Koroma, what the economy was under was Boto, Ageboto. But what the economy is now under, where IMF not been see this one also coming, but because the international world, the world as we know it, has some stressors again with the Ukraine war, the Russian war, and that make them get until September. Say by September, if you not fix this thing,
November.
yeah, November, yeah, that's true,
November.
November. By November, if you not fix this thing, if we change gear by you. So don't think that because they released that money wasn't released under conditionalities. Like when Mr. Kagbo rightly say, or actually like I say, from Boto now we are at pendamalizing, constant. The bandage self no they take right now. The so food, the smell, they stink all over the place. All right? That is what is going on with Sierra Leone right now. If Bio is to win this election, the reason why I say all of these lofty promises, them big promises, so they're not go able to accomplish them is because I know what is coming. Fiscal, monetary wise, expenditure wise. The Bank of Sierra Leone no get reserve as it is. So now, who side then? You feel to say that Arab man and they can't dump the money to now? Is that what you people are counting on? Then you have not seen anything yet. If that's the tune you are dancing to, then you have not seen anything yet. Even if Samora Kamara happens to win, he gets slight possibility for making them extend them. And the reason why he gets slight possibility for making them extend them, one, and I go give this because it comes from an economic background. He can able to explain certain things to them and put certain measure in place and say, now this are going to put in place, give me till this and let's see what happens. And then he can able to use other factors then for justify why maybe then for looking to giving them an extension. But if the SLPP happens to win, here is what I am telling you. If you get people in a salon, begin gather them proper. Make them hold them kabaslot and then kotoku proper. Because that is what's about to come. Yeah? Let nobody fool you. Me are the left and so for today. Until next time, we go sit down here. So we get Wednesday, we get Saturday. We get at least 3 more shows before the election. Because on election day, we go to still talk about them so and see how the voting pattern they go. I'm not advocating for anyone to be the right president right now because it doesn't matter whoever comes. They have an uphill battle. They have a mountain to climb. And before they reach up that mountain, then say go get for swear the day, then damn the hour. Trust me. Mr. Kago, please say your closing.
Yes, fumble them again. I have to tell una boku thank you. Interestingly though, as we close, somebody they call. So I don't know if you want to take that call there.
Oh boy. Okay. I will just entertain the call and close the show because we've dragged on for a while. And I want people to really get a time to listen, take this in. I will take the caller because they've been with us and probably maybe have something important. Every thought counts. Yes, caller, waiting on your name and who's you the call from?
Hello, Miss Matilda. This is Abdullah. Sincerely call from New Jersey, US.
Thanks, Abdullah. What do you get for with this event?
Thank you very much. I watched the program you and Mr. Kagbo present. Such a wonderful program. First of all, thank you very much. And our week, we get almost everybody in Sierra Leone, they follow this program. Unfortunately, not necessarily happen. And I just, again, with a laugh, where I see Miss Matilda, they express the country girl thing. We born up plan, we understand what that means. Somebody get good to the end of for this and that we know that like they jump from the point onto the fire. really, that's one area would make this program very interesting. At least it comes down to a level. That's I make it again. I wish the majority of the people that really suffer they follow this program. So few areas I want to work most to. A very sad, as when I put them correctly, that when people learn, they don't really understand. They don't know how to hold the elected officials them accountable. But one problem or one reason we contribute to that, unfortunately, the one that we will land book na Salone. Now we worsen the situation because even the small idea we will get because of the selfish objectives then we wickedness with bad heart because we feel say we land small book na Salone. Everybody else around you for the big from you. And if everybody the big from you, it means you get to get access. And the truth is you don't get that access bit. So then pursue like demigod. It's not the problem we get. Nobody no feels the way land book. If we be humble to the people that will never go school. This name we don't some of we born inside so we come up and God help some of we no more forget a different thought. But it's sad. I always make one funny statement at this platform whenever I call. I say, one thing we beat me time with President Bill, where to is concerned, in my own lifetime, the only two presidents where I don't see we tell them people then, go Corona the yard, Kojuma Kojuas, President Bill say them there. Say them don't achieve every two of them for Mr. Now two presidents I've ever seen that they want, President Bill and Donald Trump. And there is a point where President Bill beat Donald Trump in time. We say if letters can maybe beyond B, if we even go to them letters and at least Trump know which yonder. Trump is say he don't know exactly what it's for me. So these are some of fundamental facts that we enough for some of we will go vote Salone from no say this person here. If this person will put before in this day and age, with phone says then here, you get to be careful what you talk. This person they lie to the people then they lie to understand something. Not to tell person they can't say, oh, now so the president they know now you said the talker. What thing did they again for prove? Say this is not the right person for the job. It's really, really sad talking about the wage bill. Anytime you raise this thing with educated Slpp from Woodland, they talk about what's wrong, including the information minister. What's wrong for hire more teachers, more nurses? Why APC they say wage bill? But this not something we want to cry against. When I'm not been thinking, say if I can't add more teachers or more nurses, it will increase the wage bill. This is very, very preposterous. Then ask them why. Then we'll talk about Ukraine, Russia war. We all don't talk this thing over and again. The disaster with Ebola caused in Sierra Leone, the one we will talk about Corona, half the disaster with Ebola caused in Sierra Leone. We look at the how dreadful the disease be, how people they contract them, with people they understand in Sierra Leone, even by the time they know how to prevent them, they don't get affected. This is not skin to skin. You shake person your hands, it's not trouble. Some of the family members then die. Corona. My mama says when I go to school. We are telling say people they know they get an American people they know they open them fish in a public place. Mama say well, if not that mechanic Corona not the day because local people then tell me na market. People then they go all Monday. Is it Corona not the day? But Ebola, nobody needed to tell you that Ebola was in Sierra Leone because when you shake hand, when you say which now, the one that said we go meet now, that's they expose. People they die, we see them. But this government they lie about Corona, how Corona badly affects Sierra Leone. So these are some of the facts I wish we people can really they watch program like this. Now President Bio they crisscross all over the place. They tell people and say, you don't do this, you don't do that. It is sick for a second time. Let God be the judge. God, do your name. Make a public plea to God and prayer. If President Bion are the right person for Sierra Leone, I'm an APC supporter. God, if President Bion are the right person for Sierra Leone, protect people their life out of the deplorable situation we're in, so let it get in second time. But if not the wrong person for Sierra Leone, God, whatever it takes, let President Bion not continue. Because what we don't see in the last 5 years, I'm not can imagine we get another 5 years in that situation than this. a terrible good help we. I want to say thank you very much, guys. This is one of the best programs. I watch 3 times for the week. Let God give us everything it takes. Let this platform grow to a height we not even think of. Thank you very much, guys. Abdullah from New Jersey.
Thank you very much, Abdullah Sise. And with that, I go make Mr. Kagbo continue in closing, and we go say tata for tonight, for this
Yeah,
night.
you see what to make I tell you from the onset. We say we dey analyze, we will go deep, So now make us say, let me just do SLPP first, and then APC the other time. And one quick thing where I want for use as a closing, this now specifically to the ACC boss. Instead, another one way, my goodness, I don't know which category for put them. The kind where that man they give Sierra Leoneans them false information. Not even like I'm not going to imagine which
Let me
category
tell
you
you,
put them.
Francis Ben Kelfala lives in constant delirium. Period.
You see,
That's
you don't
it.
you don't you don't come again. No, that guy. I wonder what Grand Peking go do. Grandma go do.
Translator for that granny for me, delirium.
But anyway, last show people them Ben Kelfala in work because that MCC I be don't make I be don't make a program where I call all you need to know about MCC. Una go there and una go able forget understanding because now then they use for say don't do so well and stuff. And when you look in a nutshell, it's like poor country, then put you against poor country. And then you get 70-80% out of them poor country, then they say, oh, you don't do very well if you say for match the entire world. But let us show people them this corruption index for let una see how Ben Kelfala don't do relative to an escoma in time and whatnot. Yes, a push thing go before small, but let's show una anyways. So una will get a sense of what I they talk about. Okay, so I will sort of expand a little bit here. Una just patient with me because again, where it come to Salone, na me country. But then people here, let me be careful how we able for assess them. Because mean say when you na SLPP somebody, you yourself get that obligation for make people learn no say, then people are not good for the country. So this now the Salone corruption index. So whether, by the way, how you they read this is the higher the score, the less corrupt the country be. So look outside and take Salone, this by the way now over 100. So Salone they be take at 30 where an escoroma. So again then push to 33. So from 33 now 34.
Yeah.
So all along Ben Kelfala. For like you say 34 over 100. So from 30 to 34. Not a significant jump down there. It still shows say corruption dey na Salone you utete. So let us compare Salone with the top country them na Africa in terms of this corruption thing. So una will get a sense as to what they say. Where Ben Kelfala in 34%, a day all over they say they invite them here. My goodness, they love for invite people them from Seychelles, from Botswana, from Cape Verde. They invite Ben Kelfala, where it's scored about 34% over 100. So this now look Rwanda. So it's very clear why people and they go Rwanda. Why company like Volkswagen? Because Rwanda, this is a pass mark. Even though they self the need for do a lot more. for corruption, but it's 51 over 100. So let me look at the overall, the wall. For let una able understand this index, let them Kelfala not tell una say it don't do so much. So look, the least corrupt country in the whole world, not to America, not to Canada, but Denmark, 90 over 100, least corrupt. So, but they still get a little bit of corruption because no country in all the way corruption all day. So now this I want left with una, me fumble them. That MCC score, una go and check because that dandy they always they talk about. And by the way, another thing where I want for bring to people their attention, President Bio and in cabinet, in ministers, and they go and talk. I see in WEF, I see video in WEF, they dance na treat and say America will give Salone $450 million because of the MCC score. Able. So you see now this will they talk about. Una look the MCC score, the site. Let una able understand. By the way, for una benefit, let's just show something. Then talk say now the first begin win a compacted program. President Koroma, former President Koroma, a winner. But you know how they work? Then get 5 years and you they identify program. There's help you with that program before develop you people them. Now 5 years span. So outside President Bill in WEF, Kelfala and the information minister pull 450 million and he still they talk that for this campaign. So look at the money way or the program where former President Koroma win. So they win the program where they sign November 2015. The term where they begin implement them now the 2016, February 2016. That program they not complete till March 2021 under President Bill. So outside President Bill and last show now the recent thing. Now only assess like eligibility notification and give them. They don't tell them nothing but money, how much it go be and stuff.
We are going to come back to that MCC, this MCC thing. So for sure the people then say all waiting President Bio don't use under the MCC was as a result of an Eskoroma in effort and
the benefit, yes.
And right now,
well, without fairness, just a moment. No, just a moment. Without fairness, because compared to the other poor country, them they get 10 out of the 20 indicators them. But sadly enough, the one way they call the bread and butter issue, then consistently they fail and win at the economy. Afghanistan, then they even manage the economy past President doing the economy.
You don't make I don't roll me in a public TV and people then go say, we see where Matilda rolling here. You said and get 10 out of waiting. Do we want to really look into that 10?
No, that's make they say yes, based on the score, then get 10 over 20. At least, okay, so now make them pass them. But to me, that particular MCC, we're in a Millennium Challenge Corporation scorecard. Therefore, we don't make them say any 9 plus the economy. Because the economy, if una go back, we not get time for last show now. If una go back, una go see say Afghanistan, they manage their economy better than Salone. Afghanistan with all the kind where they treat people them. Taliban exactly. They manage the economy past Salone. Where they score on the economy is way higher than Salone. And now we all in that same category there. But yet they use the MCC score for full people away not able privilege for read them right. So now they I go tap as my conclusion for tonight, and me fumble them. I want for tell una boku thank you, and I go encourage you for share this program. And if you get any question, when we come back, again for me, unfortunately, because of me did it today task, I know say Madam Matilda insef can they work. Not to say I dey minimize a own busy schedule, but for the love of country, it is able for you now not to only Saturdays, now it don't add one more day. So I want to say thank you, but for me, probably na Saturday I go to join because I go need for put all the entire I put so together for assess the APC. But given that now the same graphs them, so the question now is how if APC win, how then go take them from here? So now Danny more I go try for address. Again, I want to say boku thank you for where you share your platform with me, and thank you. Me fumble them una tata.
Okay, fumble them. Una thank you, and una tata. We go sooner again. Una way they watch me from all the different platforms. Them listen. May God make it easy for we all. Know really truly what it means to put Salone first. Let us just not use words for mere words. Let us give true meaning to them. And let us use them with intentionality. I know say I don't talk boku big English now. I dear granny no cry. Just ask you picking near you. Make it tell you what he say. He go broke and down for you. May God bless you all. May God bless the land that we love, Mama Salone. Until next time, see you.
Time when we on the surge, yeah. For you, million Christian. Me I go vote and I go fight, yeah. Because me voting and me right, yeah. Me I go vote and I go fight, yeah. Because me voting and me right, yeah. Yeah. Now one's alone, now one's alone, now one's alone we get. Make we not allow them no use we up. Cushion to my thought, yeah. Blip, 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 blip. They put the blame on we. Blame Papa, do 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 do. They blame on we. They use them. Do. Me I go vote and I go fight, yeah. Because me voting and me right, yeah. Me I go vote and